The First Punic War, fought between the rising power of Rome and the established maritime empire of Carthage, was a pivotal conflict in the ancient Mediterranean world. Its roots lay in the strategic and economic importance of Sicily, a fertile and wealthy island positioned between the Italian peninsula and North Africa. For centuries, Sicily had been a mosaic of Greek city-states, native Sicilian tribes, and Carthaginian settlements. By the 3rd century BC, it became a flashpoint for the ambitions of these two powers. Carthage, with its origins as a Phoenician colony, had built a vast trade network stretching across the Mediterranean. Its wealth and influence relied heavily on its powerful navy, which dominated the seas. Rome, on the other hand, was a land-based power that had recently unified the Italian peninsula through a series of wars and alliances. With its disciplined legions and expanding population, Rome was eager to project its influence beyond Italy. The immediate spark for the war was a conflict involving the city of Messana, located at the northeastern tip of Sicily. A group of Italian mercenaries, known as the Mamertines, had seized control of the city and found themselves under threat from both Syracuse, the dominant Greek city-state in Sicily, and Carthage. In desperation, the Mamertines appealed first to Carthage and then to Rome for assistance. Carthage intervened initially, but the Mamertines' subsequent appeal to Rome created a dilemma for the Roman Senate. Supporting the Mamertines risked antagonizing Carthage, but abandoning them could allow Carthaginian dominance over Sicily, a potential threat to Rome's southern territories. Rome's decision to intervene marked a significant departure from its traditional focus on the Italian mainland. The Senate's choice to aid the Mamertines was likely influenced by both strategic considerations and the political need to demonstrate Roman strength. Thus began a protracted and fiercely contested struggle for control of Sicily, which would last for over 2 decades. The First Punic War began in 264 BCE and quickly escalated into a wide-ranging conflict. Rome's initial foray into Sicily revealed its lack of experience in naval warfare, a critical disadvantage against Carthage. The Carthaginian fleet was a formidable force, capable of transporting troops and maintaining supply lines across vast distances. In contrast, Rome had no significant naval tradition and relied on its legions for military dominance. Despite this disparity, Rome's adaptability and determination soon became apparent. Recognizing the need to challenge Carthage at sea, Rome embarked on an ambitious shipbuilding program. Using a captured Carthaginian quinquereme as a model, Roman engineers constructed a fleet of warships and introduced the corvus, a boarding device that allowed Roman soldiers to fight on ships as if on land. This innovation leveled the playing field and led to several notable Roman victories, including the Battle of Mylae in 260 BCE. The war's early years were marked by a series of back-and-forth engagements on land and sea. Rome's legions achieved some successes in Sicily, capturing key cities and fortresses. However, Carthage retained control of its strongholds, including the heavily fortified city of Agrigentum. The Carthaginians also relied on their mercenary armies, which included warriors from Iberia, Numidia, and Gaul, to counter Roman advances. In 256 BCE, Rome launched a bold expedition to North Africa, aiming to strike at Carthage's heartland. Led by the consul Marcus Atilius Regulus, the Roman forces initially achieved significant victories, prompting Carthage to sue for peace. However, the Roman terms were so harsh that Carthage chose to continue the war. Regulus' campaign ultimately ended in disaster when a Carthaginian army, bolstered by a Greek mercenary general named Xanthippus, decisively defeated the Roman invaders. The conflict dragged on for several more years, with neither side able to gain a decisive advantage. Both Rome and Carthage suffered heavy losses in manpower and resources. The seas became a graveyard for fleets, as storms and naval battles took a devastating toll. The financial strain of the war led both powers to impose heavy taxes and demand greater contributions from their allies and subjects. The turning point came in 41 BCE, when Rome's rebuilt fleet, commanded by the consul Gaius Lutatius Catullus, achieved a decisive victory at the Battle of the Aegates Islands. This triumph forced Carthage to sue for peace, bringing the First Punic War to an end after 23 years of relentless conflict. The conclusion of the First Punic War marked a significant shift in the balance of power in the Mediterranean. The Treaty of Lutatius, signed in 41 BCE, imposed harsh terms on Carthage. The defeated power was forced to relinquish its claims to Sicily, which became Rome's first province. Carthage also agreed to pay a massive indemnity to Rome over 10 years further straining its already depleted treasury. The war's aftermath revealed the resilience and resourcefulness of both powers. Rome emerged as a formidable naval force, having overcome its initial disadvantages through innovation and perseverance. The acquisition of Sicily marked the beginning of Roman expansion beyond the Italian peninsula, setting the stage for its transformation into a Mediterranean empire. Carthage, despite its defeat, retained significant resources and territories, including its holdings in North Africa and Spain. However, the seeds of future conflict were sown during the post-war period. The loss of Sicily and the financial burden of the indemnity created political and social unrest in Carthage. A revolt by mercenaries and subject peoples known as the Mercenary War further weakened Carthage's position. Meanwhile, Rome continued to consolidate its power, eventually annexing the islands of Corsica and Sardinia in a move that further antagonized Carthage. The First Punic War demonstrated the fierce competition between Rome and Carthage for dominance in the western Mediterranean. While the conflict ended with a Roman victory, it was clear that the rivalry between these two powers was far from over. The stage was set for a series of even more destructive wars that would ultimately determine the fate of the ancient Mediterranean world.